Just listen. No pausing, no repeating, no studying. Put it on while you cook, commute, or relax, and let the English come to you naturally. That's it. Today, we're at a supermarket. Someone is doing their weekly shop. There's a small problem at the self-checkout, and two people run into each other in the cereal aisle. Everyday English, slow and clear. Let's begin. Scene 1. The weekly shop. The supermarket is bright and a little cold. The kind of cold that hits you as soon as you walk through the automatic doors. The lighting is very white. The floors are smooth and pale. There are rows and rows of shelves, neatly stacked with food and drinks and household things. Soft background music plays from somewhere above, the kind of music that nobody really listens to, but that makes the silence feel less empty. A man in his 30s pushes a trolley slowly down the first aisle. His name is James. He has a list on his phone, which he checks every few steps. He's done this shop dozens of times before. He knows roughly where everything is, but the supermarket rearranged things a few months ago, and some items still catch him off guard. He starts in the fruit and vegetable section. He picks up a bag of apples, turns it over to check the price, and puts it in the trolley. Then bananas, then a bag of spinach. He looks at the tomatoes for a moment, picks up a small punnet, puts it back, then picks it up again and keeps it. He moves on. In the dairy aisle, he takes 2 liters of milk from the fridge. The fridge hums loudly. He grabs a block of cheese, cheddar, medium strength, and a small pot of yogurt. He checks his list again. Eggs. He turns back and finds the eggs a few steps behind him. He takes a box of 6. Further along, he picks up bread, pasta, a jar of tomato sauce, a can of chickpeas, and some washing up liquid. He pauses in front of the coffee section for a long moment, looking at the different options. He picks up one bag, then another. He reads the labels. Then he puts them both back and picks up the one he always buys. Some decisions are easier than they look. His trolley is getting heavy. He makes his way toward the checkout area at the front of the store. Scene 2. The self-checkout. James joins the queue for the self-checkout. There are 6 machines and 4 of them are in use. He waits for about 2 minutes. Then a machine becomes free and a small light above it flashes green. He wheels his trolley over and starts scanning his items one by one. Apples, milk, bread. The machine beeps with each scan. He places each item carefully into the bagging area on the right side of the machine. Then he scans the tomatoes. The machine makes a different sound, not a beep, but a longer tone, and the screen flashes with a message. Unexpected item in bagging area. Please wait for assistance. James sighs quietly. He looks around. A young woman in a supermarket uniform is making her way toward him. She has a lanyard around her neck and a small device in her hand. Sorry about that, she says. She taps something on the screen, and the message disappears. It does this sometimes with loose items, she explains. It's because the weight doesn't match exactly what it expects. James nods. Fair enough, he says. She smiles. You're all set now. Just carry on. He continues scanning. Everything else goes through without a problem. When all the items are scanned, the screen shows his total. 42 pounds and 70 pence. He taps his card on the reader. The machine beeps. Payment accepted. He packs his bags, puts them in the trolley, and takes his receipt from the machine. He folds it and puts it in his pocket without looking at it, the way most people do. Scene 3. Running into someone. On the other side of the supermarket, in the cereal aisle, a woman named Sophie is standing in front of a long row of cereal boxes. There are dozens of options. She's been standing here for almost 3 minutes, which is longer than she planned. She picks up a box of granola. She turns it over and reads the nutrition information on the back. She puts it back. She picks up a different box. She puts that back too. A voice comes from behind her. Sophie? She turns around. A woman about her age is standing in the aisle with a small basket. They look at each other for a second, then both smile. "Oh my goodness," Sophie says. "Laura." "Hi." "I thought that was you," Laura says. "How are you?" "It's been ages." "I know," Sophie says. "I'm good. I'm really good." "How about you? How's the new job going?" Laura makes a so-so gesture with her hand. "It's okay. It's a lot to learn, but I'm getting there." She pauses. "Are you still at the same place?" Sophie nods. "Yeah, still there. No sign of leaving anytime soon." They laugh quietly together. "Do you live around here now?" Laura asks, looking around the supermarket as if the answer might be somewhere on the shelves. "Just moved, actually," Sophie says. "About 2 months ago. I'm just down the road." "Oh, that's great," Laura smiles. "We should get a coffee sometime. Properly catch up." "Definitely," Sophie says. "I'd really like that." Laura takes out her phone. "Are you still on the same number?" "I am," Sophie says. Laura opens her contacts. "Great. I'll text you this week." "Please do," Sophie says. They say goodbye warmly, the way old friends do when they're both a little surprised by how happy they are to have bumped into each other. Laura heads toward the end of the aisle. Sophie turns back to the cereal. She picks up the granola again, puts it in her basket, and walks away without reading the label this time. See you next time. Next episode, we're at a pharmacy. Someone needs something for a cold, a customer asks for advice about a minor injury, and two colleagues have a quick conversation while waiting for a prescription. Same slow pace, same simple English. See you then.